Welcome to Xylity Technologies Discovery to Solutions, Episode 02. Every AI project is actually a data engineering project.
There's a meeting that happens in every organization that decides to do AI. It usually has the wrong people in the room. You've got the business sponsor, excited, budget approved, timeline already announced to the board. The AI vendor, very polished, demo loaded, case studies from companies nothing like yours. And then, somewhere in the back, there's a data engineer, quiet, a little tired, because they already know what's coming.
They know because they've seen it before. 6 months of AI project work, kickoff decks, model selection, vendor evaluations, and then your production. And production is where you find out that your customer data has 3 different definitions of active across 4 systems. Your transaction history has gaps nobody documented. And the pipeline feeding your AI hasn't been touched since 2021. The model was never the problem. It never is.
95% of enterprise AI pilots, according to MIT's 2025 research, delivered zero measurable return. Zero. Not low return, not disappointing return. Zero. And almost every post mortem says the same thing. The data wasn't ready.
Welcome to Discovery to Solutions, where we bring technology conversations from the whiteboard to reality. I'm Kavya Malhotra.
And I'm Karan Khanna. Today we're talking about the most uncomfortable truth in enterprise AI right now. Every AI project, every single one, is fundamentally a data engineering project. And most organizations don't know that until it's too late.
If you've ever sat through a board presentation where someone said, "We're adding AI to it," without anyone in the room asking, "Is our data ready for that?" This episode is for you.
Let's set the stage. We are in the middle of the largest enterprise technology investment cycle in a decade. Every organization with a data team has an AI initiative. Most of them have multiple co pilots, chatbots, predictive models, recommendation engines. The roadmaps are full. The results are not matching the roadmaps.
The numbers are stark. RAND Corporation put the AI project failure rate at over 80%. That's twice the failure rate of non-AI technology projects. S&P Global's 2025 survey found that 42% of companies abandoned most of their AI initiatives, up from 17% the year before. And Gartner has been saying for 2 years, 60% of AI projects that lack AI-ready data will be abandoned. AI-ready data. That phrase is doing a lot of work. We'll come back to it.
And here is what I want to say clearly before we go further. This is not an AI problem. The models work. GPT, Gemini, the open source alternatives, they are genuinely impressive. The problem is not that the AI is bad. The problem is that we are handing it data that would embarrass us in a basic PI review, and then wondering why it hallucinates or gives outputs nobody trusts.
Think of it this way. An AI model learns patterns from data. If your data has inconsistencies, duplicate customer records, missing history, conflicting definitions, the model doesn't flag that. It learns the inconsistency. It reproduces it at scale. AI doesn't fix bad data. It amplifies it.
All right, let's get specific. When we say every AI project is a data engineering project, what does that actually mean in practice? Let me walk through what an AI project actually requires from a data perspective. And then tell me if this sounds like an AI problem or a data problem. First, you need clean, consistent, governed data. Not clean enough for a dashboard. Clean enough that a machine learning model can learn reliable patterns from it. That means no schema drift, no silent nulls, no columns where null and 0 and NA all mean the same thing, but nobody documented it. That's a data engineering problem. Second, you need historical data with enough depth and continuity to train on. A model predicting customer churn needs 2 to 3 years of clean transactional history, not the history that exists in production. The history that was consistently captured, consistently formatted, and consistently stored. Most organizations don't have that. They have data. That's not the same thing. Third, and this is the one that kills AI projects in production, not in pilot. You need your training data and your serving data to be consistent. This is called training serving skew. Your model trains on features calculated one way. But when it hits production, the live pipeline calculates the same feature differently. The model was fine. The feature engineering wasn't aligned. Model degrades in production. Everyone blames the AI. But the truth is, it wasn't the AI.
What Karan is describing is the gap between a proof of concept and a production deployment. POCs run on curated sample data, controlled schema, controlled volume, controlled conditions. Production runs on years of real data, collected across mergers, system migrations, team changes, and decisions nobody documented. That gap is where the 80% failure rate lives. And closing that gap is a data engineering job, not a data science job, not a vendor implementation job. That's only data engineering. Now, there is a specific version of this problem that's emerged in the last 2 years, and it's relevant to anyone who is building anything with large language models. RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. The architecture behind almost every enterprise AI assistant, every internal chatbot, every Ask Our Data product you've seen demoed in the last 18 months.
The idea is simple. You don't fine tune the model on your company's data. Instead, you build a retrieval system. The model retrieves relevant context from your knowledge base, documents, records, policies, whatever, and generates its answer from that. It's a good architecture. It's also almost entirely a data engineering problem.
Think about what RAG actually requires. Your documents need to be ingested, chunked correctly, and embedded into a vector database. Your structured data needs to be accessible and queryable in real time. Your metadata needs to be accurate. So the retrieval system finds the right thing, not just a similar sounding thing. And your access controls need to be embedded at the retrieval layer. Because if they're not, your AI assistant will happily surface HR documents to someone who has no business seeing them. Every one of those requirements is a data engineering work stream. The LLM is almost the easiest part.
I had a client last year, large financial services firm. They built a beautiful RAG system, genuinely impressive retrieval architecture, 6 months of AI engineering work, and then they asked it a question about a compliance policy. It gave a confident, well structured answer from a document that had been superseded 8 months earlier. The new policy was in the system, but nobody had built a process to deprecate outdated documents. The AI was perfectly capable. The document lifecycle management was not. That's not an AI problem. That is a data governance problem that was always there, and the AI just made it visible.
So let's talk about what Gartner means when they say AI ready data, because that phrase gets used a lot, and it means something very specific.
AI ready data is not clean data. It's not even just well governed data. AI ready data is data that can reliably support a machine learning lifecycle. That means four things. 1. Completeness and consistency. Not perfect data, but data where the gaps are known, documented, and handled. Your model needs to know when something is missing, not infer the wrong thing because null was never defined. 2. Lineage. You need to know where every piece of training data came from. Why? Because when your model makes a bad prediction, and eventually it will, you need to be able to trace back and understand why. Without lineage, Debugging a model in production is guesswork. 3. Freshness. AI models are not static, they drift. The world changes, customer behavior changes. The pipeline that feeds your model needs to keep the data current, and you need monitoring to know when it doesn't. 4. Feature consistency across environments. I keep coming back to this because it kills more AI projects than people realize. The feature your model trained on in the development environment must be calculated identically in production. If there's any drift, even small, your model will degrade silently, and you won't know until business outcomes start slipping.
Here's the executive version of what Karan just said. Before you spend a rupee on model development, before you license a single AI platform, you need to answer three questions honestly. 1. Do we know what data we have, where it lives, and whether it's trustworthy? 2. Do we have the pipelines to keep that data fresh and consistent? 3. Do we have the governance to know when something changes in the data and respond before the model breaks? If any of those answers is we're not sure, you are not ready to build AI, or you are ready to invest in data engineering.
There's a specific budget pattern we see in almost every AI engagement we come into. Organizations spend 80% of their AI budget on model development, platform licenses, and AI tooling, and 20% or less on data readiness. The successful ones do it the other way around. Informatica's 2025 CDO Insight survey put it clearly. Winning AI programs, the ones that actually ship to production and deliver ROI, earmark 50 to 70% of their timeline and budget for data readiness. Extraction, normalization, governance, quality dashboards, retention controls.
All of that comes first. The model comes after.
And I understand why organizations do it the wrong way. Data preparation is invisible work. It doesn't demo well. You can't show a board a data pipeline and get a standing ovation. But you can show them a broken AI rollout 8 months later. And that is exactly what happens. The organizations that treat data engineering as the foundation, not the prerequisite that happens before the real work, are the ones that actually ship AI in production. The rest are still in POC.
Now, let's talk about the other side of this. Because this conversation isn't just a warning for executives, it's a signal for data engineers about where the role is going.
The data engineer's job has fundamentally expanded. A few years ago, your job was pipelines, ETL, data warehousing, keeping the mart clean so the BI team could build reports. That was the contract. That contract is now obsolete. Today, if you're on a data team supporting AI initiatives, you are expected to understand feature stores, vector databases, model monitoring and drift detection, data versioning for reproducibility, and lineage that goes all the way through from raw source to model inference. That is a 10 times increase in scope. Most job descriptions haven't caught up. Most team structures haven't caught up. But the expectation is already there.
And I want to frame this as an opportunity, not just a burden. Because what this shift means is that data engineers are no longer infrastructure. They are the critical path for every AI initiative in the organization. Every AI project that ships to production does so because the data engineering underneath it was solid. Everyone that fails, fails because it wasn't. That is leverage. Data engineers who understand the AI life cycle, who can build pipelines that support training, serving, and monitoring, are the most valuable people in a modern data organization. The ones who are still thinking of themselves as ETL builders will be left behind. All right, the moment of truth. A CTO calls us tomorrow. They have an AI budget approved. They want to know where to start. Karan will take it from here.
Before you start any AI project, run a data readiness audit. Not a vendor assessment, not a platform evaluation. A honest internal audit of three things. First, do you know what data you have? Not what your data catalog says you have. What you can actually query, trust, and explain to someone outside your team. Second, do you have documented data quality baselines? Completeness, accuracy, consistency, measured and tracked, not assumed. Third, do you have the pipeline infrastructure to keep that data fresh at the cadence your AI model will need? If the answer to any of those is no, your first AI investment should be in data engineering, not model development, not a Gen AI platform license. Data engineering. Fix the foundation, then build the house.
And my addition, don't let the excitement of AI blind you to the basics. I've watched organizations pour 12 months and crores of rupees into AI initiatives, only to discover at production that their source systems don't agree on what a customer is. A customer who bought once 5 years ago. Is that a customer? Your CRM says yes. Your transaction system says no. Your loyalty platform has never heard of them. Your AI will make a prediction based on one of those definitions. Which one? Nobody decided. That decision, that data governance decision, is worth more to your AI project than the model architecture. Get that right first.
The organizations winning at AI right now are not the ones with the most sophisticated models. They're the ones with the cleanest pipelines, the clearest data definitions, the most boring, well governed, well documented data foundations. Boring wins. Every time.
So there you have it. AI is not a technology problem. It is a data problem. And data problems at enterprise scale are solved by data engineering, not by better models, not by bigger budgets, by cleaner pipelines, stronger governance, and teams that understand the full life cycle from source to inference.
If your organization is sitting on an AI initiative that's stalled or about to launch one, and nobody has asked the data readiness question yet, ask it now, before production does. We've seen what happens when production asks it first. It's not a fun conversation.
Next episode, we're going into architecture, specifically one of the most debated patterns in modern data engineering, the medallion architecture, bronze, silver, gold. Is it the right foundation for a modern data platform? Or is it an over-engineered solution to a problem most organizations don't actually have? We have opinions, strong ones. If you've ever implemented a medallion or been told to implement it, you'll want to hear this.
See you in the next episode.
Thanks for listening to us on Discovery to Solutions.